I have printed a lot of things over the years, but these are the prints that have actually stuck around. These are 10 functional prints that I use almost every single day, and some of them I just couldn't live without at this point. So let's get into it. I use this water bottle every single day, and there's no chance that this is going to fit in the cup holder of my truck. Now I love my LTT water bottle, and even with its, disappearing design here, but it's definitely on the larger size of water bottles. So I found this adapter over on Printables, and basically what this is it just has a spot that'll go into the cup holder and the top half will hold my water bottle. I printed this one in Bamboo Labs PETG High Flow quite some time ago, we're talking years ago at this point. There is one downside though, is it has warped just slightly, and that does make taking the water bottle out a little bit difficult. I have since reprinted it using the sponsor of today's video, the Anycubic Cobra X. More on that here in just a little bit though. Now, how this is actually supposed to work is the fit is way looser like it's supposed to. So yeah, reprinting this was a good idea. Now let's talk about the next one. Next up is this little door stopper guy. This might be one of the dumbest looking prints on the list, but it works ridiculously well. The door stop at my work doesn't really do its job, so I printed out this little door stopper guy to kind of help fix that problem. And he's been holding the door open ever since, well over a year at this point. It printed out pretty quickly, and it worked so well that I eventually needed another one for my office. So I printed that one on the Anycubic Cobra X. To get the best grip out of this thing, I usually pull the door back into it a little bit and really wedge him under there. And somehow, this little goofy die does much better job than the actual doorstop that's attached to the door. Go figure.
And speaking of the Cobra X, Anycubic is actually sponsoring today's video. I've been using this printer for quite a few of the functional prints in this video, but the Cobra X is pretty interesting on its own, especially considering it starts at just $299. You've got a 260 by 260 by 260 millimeter build volume, speeds up to 600 millimeters per second, automatic bed leveling and flow calibration, plus a built-in camera and remote printing. And one of the biggest features is multicolor. The Cobra X can print with 4 colors right out of the box, and the system can actually be expanded even further if you want to get crazy with it. But honestly, for me, I've been mostly just using it to crank out useful stuff like this. So thanks to Anycubic for sponsoring today's video. I'll have a link to the Cobra X down in the description below. Now let's get back to the prints.
This next one has worked so well, my wife has asked me to print another one. Now, it could just be because I have so many seasonings in the cabinet that we just needed to organize them a little bit better, but you can never have too many, right? This is a really simple double-decker spice rack. But the cool part is that these shelves slide out, which makes it way easier to actually reach all of these spices shoved towards the back of the cabinet. Now, instead of pulling out half the cabinet trying to find one bottle, now you can just slide out the entire row forward. I will say, assembling this was not the easiest. Some of these pieces did need some serious encouragement to fit together. My desk is basically a cable nightmare, and I have come to terms with that. But this next print will help with that just a bit. These are designed to hold a 10 by 3 millimeter magnet, and you can use them to route cables underneath your desk, along shelving, or pretty much anywhere you have something magnetic to attach them to. I've printed up a bunch of these to clean up the cables around my desk, and they've worked quite well. My one recommendation though is to glue the magnets in. I didn't do that with all of mine, and every once in a while a magnet decides it would rather stay attached to the desk than inside of the clip if I go to move it. So yeah, definitely glue them in. This next print might have actually saved my marriage. Okay, maybe that's a little bit too dramatic, but you'll get the point. But this is probably the print on my list that I have used the longest. I might even printed this with my very first 3D printer. It is a very simple, dirty, or clean indicator for the dishwasher. That is magnetized via 2 magnets in the back. So when you start the dishwasher, you flip it over and put it to clean. When you empty it, you flip it over to dirty. That's it. But it completely solves that moment when you open the dishwasher and you have absolutely no idea if what's in here is clean or if it's dirty.
This actually helps out the kids quite a bit because now they know if the dishwasher is clean or dirty. They won't have to put in dirty dishes in something that's just recently been cleaned. It's incredibly simple, but this thing does get used like every day. Now this next one solves a problem that shouldn't be as annoying as it is. If you use one of these big detergent containers with a spout, you fill up the cup, you put the cup somewhere, and then eventually the detergent just starts dripping out of the spout and getting everywhere. This simple holder fixes that problem. Now you can fill up the cup one-handed, and when you're done, just leave it right there. And best of all, everything that's going to drip is going to go right back into the cup. My wife absolutely loved this one, and I've had to reprint it on the Anycubic Cobra X because I broke the last one. Definitely pay attention to how you orient this when you print it, because don't print it like this, because you're going to make this the weak point vertically, and it's going to snap in half like my last one. You're gonna wanna print it just like this. This is kind of one of those prints also where like, why doesn't this just come with this? It would make things so much easier. I swear, I don't know about you, but sometimes I can never find a box cutter. So I've printed out more of them with this very simple design, and this works great. One problem though is I have lost the other side of this one, so let's print another one on the Anycubic Cobra X. Now that I've got all my parts printed out here, I can go ahead and get this assembled. All right, now there we have it. We have a box cutter that works really nicely. And what's really cool is it does kind of detent at each step. So when you go all the way out, it does kind of stay out. It's not super locked, but it does a decent job. Now, why buy a bunch of different organizing bins if you could just print what you need? And that's what I did here with these stackable bins, which are a really good size. These stackable trays have been pretty good for adding some sort of organization to the inside of my toolboxes. They're a really useful size. They stack together nicely, and I use them for all random sorts of stuff. I have some holding extra camera accessories, some with random tools and hardware, and I especially like using them for all the little pieces of my projects that I stack together here. Now, instead of throwing everything loose into a drawer, I can keep the parts together and then stack the trays when I'm done, like this. And we have little handles so we could actually see what's inside also. It's a nice little thing. No joke, I need to print more of these. My garage is honestly just a constant disaster. I'm always constantly trying to clean and pick up things, but this next one helps keep everything clean because it gives space on the wall for stuff that would otherwise be sitting on the ground. And that is this gravity broom holder. They're really simple. You push the broom or whatever tool you're storing into the holder, and gravity pulls the roller down and locks the handle into place. Then when you want to back out, just lift it up and pull away. No complicated mechanism, it just works. If you're gonna use these in the garage that gets really hot, I'd probably print them in something more like PETG rather than PLA, because it's like 109 degrees in my garage right now, and it's hot. Can you tell? When I print stuff that needs to hold a load, I typically will go for PETG in here, and I recommend that you do the same, especially if your garage turns into an oven like mine. Lastly, this next one helps me keep dirty clothes from just piling all over the house. I wear the same pants every day to work for the most part because they're not really getting dirty. So what I'll do is I'll hang them up in the closet thanks to this special 3D printed hanger. This thing features 2 hooks so you can hang up more than one thing if you need to, but this thing's been awesome. I use this like almost every day because, well, you know, gotta hang my pants somewhere. And those are 10 functional prints that I use pretty much every day. Not prints that just look cool for a week and then I toss somewhere. These are prints that have genuinely stuck around and I use day to day. I'll have links for every model that I've shown down in the description below, as well as a link to the Anycubic Cobra X if you want to check them out. That is an affiliate link, so if you buy something from them, it's no extra cost to you, but I take some of their money. It's a win-win situation. If you have a functional print that you use all the time, let me know down in the comments below because I'd love to hear what you guys are printing that are functional. This is Adam from the Rad Dad Print Lab, and I'll see you next time.